Okay, so today we're in section 3.4, box and whisker plots. We have some terms to write down, which you guys have been working on. I just want to go through each one of the terms and what it means. All right, so a box and whisker plot divides data into four parts: the lower extreme, the lower half, the upper extreme, the upper half and the upper extreme. All right, so the first thing you do is you find the, what is that word? Find the median. Find the median of the data. Your lower quartile is the median of the lower half. Your upper quartile is the median of the upper half. Your lower extreme is the lowest value, and your upper extreme is the highest value. So let's see what this looks like in an example. This example gives us examples of, or I guess, statistics really, of the heights and feet of roller coasters in the United States. So here we have all of these numbers, okay, 35 all the way up to 100. The first thing we need to ask ourselves is, are these numbers in order from least to greatest? Are they? Okay, so on this one, they're already in order, so I just want you to copy down the numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to find the median of these numbers. All right, so I just start on the outside. I'm just going to make little marks underneath the numbers as I work from the outside in, and I find that my two middle numbers are 60 and 70. All right, so are they both my median? No, what do I need to do? I need to add them together and divide by 2. And when I do that, when I add them together and divide by 2, what do I get? What do I get? 65. So 65 is my true median. All right, so I want you to write 65 just like I did right there. All right, 65 is my true median. And now you're going to divide, you're going to put a bracket underneath the lower half and a bracket underneath the upper half. All right, so let's see. We've got 65. Bracket under the lower half, bracket under the upper half, and now I want you to find the median of the lower half and the median of the upper half. Go ahead and box in that number in the set. So what is the median of the lower half? It is 44, so box it in. What is the median of the upper half? 78. And this is what we call them. We call 44 the lower quartile and 78 the upper quartile. You don't necessarily have to write that down, but you need to know that vocabulary. All right, now we are ready to plot our box and whisker plot. We have to figure out, though, what numbers we're going to write on our number line. So do you think I would write 100, 110, 120, 130, 140? Well, how do I know what numbers to put on my number line then? I can't just write whatever I feel like. How do I know what numbers to put? Blake?
You have to look at the numbers on there and look at the lowest one and then look at the highest one.
Exactly. I got to look at the range. What's my lowest value? 35. So 30 needs to be the starting point. And I'm going all the way up to 100. So do I want to go by 2s? Do I want to go by 5s? That's too much. Now, on the other side, do I want to go by 20s? That's a little high, because if I go by 20s, it leaves too much room, too much blank space in between for guessing. So I'm going to go by 10s. 30, 40, 50. Where would I stop? Maybe 110, just a little bit above that highest number. Go ahead and set up your number lines. So now that our number line is set up, I'm going to plot a point underneath the number line for each of the medians. I start with my true median. I'm going to start with my lower quartile of 44, so right about halfway between the 40 and the 50. Then I'm going to do my true median, which is 65. I'm going to plot my point there. And then I'm going to plot my upper quartile, which is 78, so just under the 80. and I'm going to draw a box. That's where we get the word box from in the box and whisker, around the medians, and a line through the true median. A line through the true median. And then come my whiskers. I'm going to plot a point for the lowest and the highest number in my data set. That's what I call my extremes. My lowest number was a 35. My highest number was a 100. And I connect my whiskers. Okay, and that's how I do a box and whisker plot. Okay, so now in example 2, I'm going to kind of lead you a little bit, but I want to see how much you remember about what we just did in the first one, okay? So I want you to try to do some of this work on your own. What is the very first thing that I want to do with this set of numbers? Put them in order from least to greatest, okay? So start there and see how much you can remember to do. You can look back on the first one that we just did to give you a reference, all right? So I want to see, this is just kind of like a guided practice. I want to see how much you can do on your own, and then we'll do it together. All right, so we've got our numbers in order, least to greatest. I got to squeeze in that last 25 up there, so sorry about that. And then, what do I do? Did anybody do the next step? What do I do next? Find the median. What is the median? 17. It's right between 15 and 19. So split your halves. Okay, how many people found the median was 17 before I did? Good. All right, now I split my halves. Malcolm, what do I do next? What do? Anybody know? Find the, Alexis? Find the median of the lower half and the median of the upper half. And I call them my, what? It starts with a Q?
Lower and higher.
Yep, I call my quartiles, my lower and my upper quartiles. Now that I've found my 3 medians, now I can start my number line. What would be the lowest number that you'd put on your number line? Okay, 5. What intervals would you go by?
5.
Okay, 5s. I would say 5 is the biggest, just because I'm only going from 10 to 25. So 5 is the absolute biggest I'd accept. You could go a little smaller without having a super long number line. Loza? Go by 2s. That's what I did. If you go by 5s, as long as your points are pretty close, it would be fine. All right, so like I said, there's not one correct answer for the intervals. However, you just want to make sure that you don't leave too much guesswork. So if I went by 10s, there's too much space in between to figure out where those points exactly go. Does that make sense? All right, so now that I have my number line drawn, I want you to go ahead and try to draw your box and whiskers beneath the number line. All right, so we plot our medians first. Our true median, our lower and our upper quartiles. We draw our box and our line through the true median. And then, what do we do last? Our extremes. Our extremes are the whiskers. All right, and lines go out to each one. Any questions? All right, third one, you're completely on your own. I want to see who can do it from start to finish without any help. If you get stuck, I'll give you a hint along the way, but I want to see who can do this one from start to finish. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is what? What do we do first? Put the numbers in order, least to greatest. Okay, I don't want it to show all. All right, so put them in order, least to greatest. All right, then my true median is 65. Okay, now I have my lower and my upper half, but what's going to happen is when I find the median of the lower half, or I'm sorry, let's start with the upper, I have to take the average of those two numbers. There's 2 numbers in my median, so I'll have to take their average. All right, so that part I see that a lot of you guys are struggling on. So that part, you've got to take the average. What about the lower half? Anybody think they know the median? Okay, about half of you. All right, try to find the median of the lower half. I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to figure that out. What is it, guys? 40.5. Now you've got to figure out what your intervals are going to be on your number line. So do that part if you haven't already. And what are your intervals going to be? Do I go by 50s? No, it's way too big. What do I need to go by? 10s. I want to go by 5s. It's way too long. I want to go by 20s. It's too big. 10s sound good. All right, so I go by 10s. And then I plot my points for my medians. All right, so plot your points for your medians. Draw your box and your whiskers. All right, so point for my lower quartile, point for my middle, my true median, and point for my upper quartile, box around them, line through the median, and my extremes. Are your points in that general location on the number lines? They should be. And that's how you do a box and whisker plot.